Hey everybody, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Do me a favor before we get started. I need you to hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, I need you to do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. So we're going to talk about real estate today, how to invest in real estate without using your own money. How to invest in real estate without using your own money. All right. Sounds like a scam, doesn't it? Does that sound like a scam to anybody? Actually, your ears should um, perk up when you hear the words. Um, let's see, it's a particular phrase. Other people's money. Other people's money. So your ears should perk up when you hear that. Other people's money. Reason being is that a lot of times when you hear that, um, it is associated with some kind of scam. All right. So just be mindful, be careful out here. Um, don't be paying no large amount of money for these guru trainings. All right. Watch out for the get rich quick schemes. All right. But we're going to talk about how to invest in real estate without using your own money. And it's not what it sounds like. So this sounds like you could use other people's money, right? Therefore, it's free. And you're going to go buy real estate and you're going to get this for free. All right. So don't fall for that. Okay. They're out here. The cons are out here. So just be careful. But we're going to talk about how to invest in real estate without using your own money and what that really means. What it really means. All right. So before I do that, there's a statistic that I heard about Black people. And I want you to tell me, do you think this statistic is true or false? Because just because it's a statistic doesn't mean it's true. You ever thought about that? You hear a statistic and you just automatically believe it. Like somebody could have made this up. But this is a statistic that I heard. So you tell me if it's true or false. 50% of Black people has less than $500 in savings. That's a statistic that I heard. 50% of Black people have less than $500 in savings. That's a statistic that I heard. So is that true or false? Put it in the comments. True or false. All right. So generally, when it comes to real estate, one of the main reasons why people don't get into real estate is because it costs a lot of money, right? Some people may think that they see this price tag for $100,000 and they think that they need $100,000. Therefore, they may choose to do something else besides real estate. But we're going to talk about how to invest in real estate without using your own money. So, say for example, there's a $100,000 house and you think you need $100,000. So you may try to save this money, try to save $100,000. Well, what the wealthy are doing is they're not waiting around saving $100,000. They go borrow it or they raise it. So they go borrow it or they raise it. So other people's money, when you hear the term other people's money, that actually means you are borrowing the money. It's a loan, right? So it's not free money. This is a loan. And what do you do with loans? With loans, you have to pay them back. So this is what wealthy people do. They borrow the money or they raise the money. Then you generally need 20% down for investment property. which is different from a property that you plan to live in. So a property you plan to live in, you can get in for 3.5%. But just talking about investment properties is generally 20% down. If your credit is around 740 for some lenders, you can get in for 15% down. So they do have better financing if your credit is better. So we're going to go with the 20% down. All right. So the power of leveraging credit. So this is business credit. All right. So first of all, you have to have good credit. That's the first step. You have to have good credit. Then you get your entity together, the LLC, for example. And then you can go, at that point, you can go to a bank, not the big banks, but the small banks, and get funding for your business entity. So you are leveraging business credit. You are using this, you're getting $20,000 or $50,000, for example. So say you only need 20,000. This is the way that you get the 20,000, the down payment. And then you go purchase the property. This is through leveraging credit. So the main important part is that the property would pay more than the debt. So say the debt is 700 and then the property pays 1,500. So as long as the property pays more than the debt, that's how you are winning, because you're getting profit. And then just repeating that cycle over and over again. And that's what the wealthy are doing. And this is called an investor. So you have different stages in life. Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote a book and he talked about the different stages. He talked about the employee, which pays the most taxes. Nothing wrong with being an employee, mind you. He talked about the employee, which pays the most taxes. He talked about the self-employed, which is essentially you bought a job. He talked about the business owner. And then lastly, he talks about the investor. So the investor is the cycle that I just talked about. They pay the least in taxes. And this is a way that people are building wealth for themselves. So, like I said before, one reason why people choose not to get into real estate is because they essentially think that it's too expensive. You have to be rich. You have to have money. However, the wealthy are borrowing the money. So they have the money and they're not even using their own money. They're borrowing the money or they are raising the money. And so this strategy of leveraging business credit is very important because it gives you the ability to get the down payment instead of waiting to save for it. Go buy the property and then repeat that process over and over again, as long as the property is paying more than the debt. So say the property pays 1,500, the debt is 700, for example, and you are using debt to make profit. You're using debt to build wealth. And that's what the wealthy do. They use debt to build wealth, which is contrary to what most people are used to. So most people are used to this debt-free system of trying to become debt-free. However, there's a different system out here, and that system is using leverage to build wealth. All right. And that's more in line with the Robert Kiyosaki path. All right. So do me a favor. If you like the channel, I need for you to hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, I need for you to hit that subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you won't miss an episode. The first step in all of this is good credit. And then next, we move on to business credit. All right. So it's a process. It is a process. But as long as you know about it and you're aware about it, it's better than being unaware, because the vast majority of the population is unaware. All right. So do me a favor. If you like the channel, I need you to hit that like button. You're not a subscriber, I need you to do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. Feel free to leave your comments below, your thoughts, your opinions. If you're interested in joining the real estate group, check out the link below. Join the waitlist for the real estate group. And if you're a man, check out the hat collection below. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you for your support. And don't forget, on your way out, hit that like button. I will see you next time. Bye.